TV.
Doing the Santa Claus parade again this year?
Welcome to this edition of Dufferin Life. I'm your host, Teena Avery, and oh my goodness, David Nairn is here. And David Nairn was just trying to throw me off, and he almost did it. He almost got me to say something different.
I didn't know that we were that close to going to the Pat turning on the cameras. I wasn't trying to throw you off. I thought we had more time with the intro.
Anyway, so David Nairn is here.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I love being on this couch. It's so comfy. I wish everybody knew how comfy this couch is.
We're gonna find other reasons to bring you back, because technically this show that's running right now is your last show as artistic director.
My last show as artistic director. I'm in love with your sister, going out with a world premiere of a Norm Foster comedy. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, officially as of July 1st, mm-hmm. Jennifer Stewart, who you've met, will be the new artistic director, and I will become the artistic director emeritus. Which I think really just sort of means cranky old man sitting in the corner yelling at everyone and doing
Telling them what to do. Yeah, doing it for free.
And doing it for free. That's pretty much kind of, so I'm going to be working on some special projects for Jennifer and for Sharon Aliff, the executive director. And so that's going to be really on a part-time basis, right?
Right.
So, and then Debbie and I are writing the panto, or in the midst of that, and Debbie Collins, and I'm going to be directing it. So you haven't got rid of me yet.
No, we would just find reasons to bring you on for just random. You know, we have to do our cocktails and then Christmas. And
I know, but the reason why Tina's upset, everybody, is because literally 3 seconds before she went, I said, because there was a thing in the credits about the Santa Claus parade, and I said, are we going to do the Santa Claus parade, or are we going to do cocktails, or whatever? And she got all flustered.
I did not.
Because you love Christmas, and you got thinking about Christmas, and you got all flustered.
I do. I really do love Christmas, and it was just like, what? I can't talk. Hi. Yeah, it was one of those. But I'm not flustered. I'm all good.
Can everybody see your fingernails? Can Pat zoom in? Pat,
I don't know.
Can you zoom in and show Tina's fingernails? They are incredible. They're like this. They totally match your
my outfit. Yes, they are. I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah,
so
they're like
leopard print.
Leopard print fingernails.
Yes, they are.
You look like a cat. They look like leopard. You look like a leopard.
I do. Well, everyone knows I do love having my nails done, and this is one of my favorites. And I thought I was like, oh, what am I going to wear on the show with David? I'm like, leopard. Like, yeah. So.
As one does. I would have done my nails too. Like I would have been a little more prepared.
Well, next time you got to read the memo.
Okay. The nails memo.
The nails memo. Teena and her nails. Oh my gosh! Now we're completely off topic, which is fun. I love David. I love having you on the show because we could talk for hours on end without stopping.
We usually do off air. We usually talk for hours and hours and hours. We should just film the whole thing.
We should. We could have at least 14 segments.
Do like an hour-long special.
Absolutely. Okay, so I don't want to go completely off topic.
Right.
So I'm in love with your sister.
Are you really?
Well, I was going to say that when you said...
My sister lives in Vancouver. That's
I
good
do.
for
I
you.
love her. But let's talk about what this show's all about, because it just sounds like it could be a really awkward but yet really funny Norm Foster.
I think you pretty much nailed it nailed right on the head. It's,
okay.
It's very, very funny. It's the story of Kevin, who is it's a guy who's torn.
Okay.
Between
two sisters.
And
My goodness.
The adventure is, I guess, decide where he's going to land. I don't want to give too much away.
No, we don't.
So the important thing to say is that guarantee that everybody's going to walk out with a big smile on their face. It's very, very funny. I think it's the perfect way to end the season. I mean, everybody loves Norm's plays.
Yes.
Norm Foster is, he's the most prolific and popular playwright in Canada. There's no getting around that. And it's a thrill to do a premiere. So
yes.
Audiences here, Dufferin audiences, are seeing. They're the very first people in the world to see this play. Mm-hmm. And like all of Norm's plays, they get produced all over the world. Mm-hmm. And when the play is published, it will say right in it, anytime the play is done, that it was originally done at Theatre Orangeville in Orangeville, Ontario, Canada.
Right.
And because his work gets done he's been done in Russia, he's been done in Poland, Iceland, like weird, all over the world. So it's, I guarantee, I'm not giving you your money back if you don't.
There's no so there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
Well, you have my personal word, which is not really worth too much. No, it's been it's a wonderful show. I think it's a great way to end the season. We've had a very successful season. Lots of first timers coming out, new audiences,
Nice.
younger
Beautiful.
people coming out. The comedies have been really great. The panto was terrific. So it's a wonderful way to end the season.
Yes.
I'm sorry I'm being a little, about the nature of the play because I just don't want to give too much away.
No, and you know what? I think I just have to. I haven't seen it yet, but we've got a week left in the show, so I've got to try to get all my ducks in a row. My ducks are more like a duck and a pigeon and a turkey, and like my ducks just don't go in a row a lot.
Get all your ducks together and get to the show before it closes. And everybody, you too, out there in Rogers Land, come and see the show. It's very funny.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that's what we're doing. So it's a great way to go out. I mean, it's a little weird. It's bittersweet, but it's all on my terms, and that's fabulous. And Jennifer is brilliant, and she's going to take the theater in even greater heights and directions, and she's full of all kinds of wonderful ideas, and she's got a place now. She has a house here, and so she's becoming will be a very valued and valuable member of the community, which is so important.
Yes,
here
absolutely.
in Dufferin.
And we will have her on the show.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
I need to meet her in a little bit more detail and talk about David when he's not here, will be fun.
Great. I'll have to tune in for that. Let me tell you, I can only imagine what that's going to be like. I've
got a few stories, and I will tell you. Not only do I have stories about David Nairn, I have video bloopers of David Nairn. Maybe I should bring those out.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if Pat would.
Some
let
of them, yeah.
I don't know if they would clear Pat.
Some of them.
I don't think the producer would let some of those quotes. And
Well,
some
we
of that go
would
on
we would
the
have
air.
to be picky and choosy because there were just some, and there was some where David was
Yikes.
so frustrated. Oh my goodness.
Never.
Yeah,
Never.
He's the ultimate professional, David Nairn.
Apparently, I'm the ultimate professional out there in Rogers Land. So if you want the ultimate professional, yeah. No, it's been great. And as I say, it's a great way to end the season. I feel like I'm going out on a little bit of a high that way, but as I'm going to be around. You can't get rid of me.
Of course not.
So and still living here in the community, love the community, looking forward to doing some more volunteer work and just
enjoying some time to yourself too.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're a very busy man. You are a very busy
I've got
man.
a lot of kind of projects coming up.
Yeah.
The Norm Effect that we're doing in the fall. I'm going to be directing one of those and in one on stage for it, and then finished with Debbie, as I said, doing the panto and then directing it. So I'm pretty busy still at the theater right up until the end of the year, up until the end of December. So. And that's great, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, speaking of community, I hear rumor and congratulations that you won a community grant recently.
Yes, Theatre Orangeville was the Highlands Rotary.
One of the recipients, yeah.
Yeah, we were one of I think 5 recipients, and that was amazing. All the service clubs in Orangeville, they're hugely supportive.
Yes.
The Optimists, Rotary, everybody, they're hugely supportive of not just Theatre Orangeville, but I mean the really amazing thing about that process that they did is that I don't know, there was at least 24 organizations, and every single one of them makes a vital contribution to the health, welfare, and just general state of great being here in Dufferin. Every single one of them.
Yes.
And so it was a thrill just to be kind of included in that amazing group. It was a $3,000 grant, I guess is what you want to call it, and that's going to support our creative partners on stage.
Right.
The great work that we do with Community Living Dufferin. So people are going to see the direct result of that, of how we just ramp those programs up and make them more opportunity for people and make them more inclusive and just sort of heighten the production values and all that of it. So so we were really thrilled. We were really honored and pleased, obviously, but as I say, it was really a knockout to see all of the amazing organizations. And I say, you just go down the list and go, yes, yes, yes. So I can't imagine. I know that there was a component of it of a kind of
a vote,
a vote in. And then some of it was, I think, the club. That there was that the club themselves made some decisions, and boy, I wouldn't have wanted to have been on that.
No, I know. Like I think
team.
every year, when they come on and discuss it with me, and they talk about all that, and it's usually like, how do you decide? Like I wouldn't want to be so. It is very smart of them to, to keep a couple of decisions to themselves, but just to let the community vote and have their input in it as well, because sometimes they can, when they're even nominating sometimes maybe they're nominating a group that's not as well known for what they do in the community.
Yep.
And it's really important because, I mean, like Theatre Orangeville, which is a not-for-profit, there are so many amazing programs and services and everything and groups in the community that I don't think get enough recognition.
Yeah, no,
and they
don't,
need it for fundraising.
Well, no, for sure, but there's so much positive, as you say, happening in the community, and I mean. Because of the nature of what we do, I guess we're kind of high profile, right? Just because people are coming and watching what we do, in that, because that's the nature of what the beast is, right? But it's such an amazing community.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you have people on, you've got people on every show who are all making incredible contributions to the community, whether it's through business or the arts or social services or whatever they're doing. Everybody's all working for a common good.
Yeah.
And that's to make Dufferin County an even better place to live, to work, to raise kids, to go to school, whatever it is. I mean, every single person you've ever had on this show is working towards that. I feel like we're all working in the same. We're all pulling in the same direction.
We're all going in the same direction, and we're all, pulling for everyone in the community. Yeah. We have a couple minutes left, so I want to go back to the play for a minute.
Yes.
Tell me who's starring in the play.
Well, Reed Janice plays Kevin, who's kind of the young man who is much put upon. Reed was with us a couple of seasons ago. We did They're Found in Trees, it was a premiere of another Norm Foster play. Erin McKinnon, who was with us, and Erin,
I love Erin.
did the last thing she did, I guess, for us was one of our online shows, the rules of things that we did, the rules of playing Risk. She actually wound up playing my daughter when Norm and I toured with Jonas and Barry in the Home. Norm and I did over 200 performances, and Erin must have done at least 150 or 160. Yeah. And Maria Den. Was last. Maria hasn't been with us for a little while. The last show we did with her was The Gentleman Clothier. Again, another Norm Foster play.
I think that's when I first started really getting into Theatre Orangeville. Yeah. So
the connection that they all have, and it's a brilliant cast. And when Norm and I, with a new play, you always want the playwright's input. Because the playwright has written sometimes not with specific people in mind, but the kind of characters in mind.
Yeah.
And we just sat down and we looked at the three characters and we went, well, it's got to be Reed, it's got to be Maria, and it's got to be Erin. And Amazing. They were all available, and they're all here, and they're all just rocking the place. It's super funny.
I can't wait to see it. I have to scuttle in this week and make sure I don't miss it, as you need to do that as well. www.theatreorangeville.ca. Get your tickets.
I can sell you 2 tickets right now if you want to give me cash. If you want to give me cash, I can give you 2 tickets right now.
We'll take care of that. David, as always, it is truly one of my great pleasures having you on this couch with me.
I love coming and sitting on your comfy couch. It's one of the comfiest couches I've ever sat on. Always fun.
Thank you for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Are you a passionate content creator ready to expand your audience reach? Do you have unique stories, captivating hobbies, or special interests that deserve a spotlight? Rogers TV is here to amplify your voice within the community. We offer you the platform to broadcast your content to a wider audience. And the best part, it's completely free. Don't miss this opportunity to share your vision and engage with viewers. Find out how Rogers TV can transform your content journey today.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Dufferin Life. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you're just tuning in, as always, you're tuning in at a great time. So I have a new guest who has not sat on my couch before joining me today. Sarah Johnson. She is the founder of the Bigger Things Project. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is truly my pleasure. So let's start off by talking about what is the Bigger Things Project.
So the Bigger Things Project is a teen and young adult or youth coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than therapy or counseling of any kind. It's a 12-week program for teens and young adults to build confidence, work on areas of their life that they feel they need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's 12 weeks is so that they have like a tangible outcome at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we're going to start off right from the beginning. So where did all this originate from?
Yeah, so I've been a teacher for several years, almost over 6 years now, in the area. And
She's still very young.
yeah. Yes. I look a lot younger than I am, and most people, think I'm very much younger. Sometimes I get mistaken for high school students when I have taught high school.
That. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous and envious, and I really didn't mean to interrupt. So let's start from the beginning. Where did this originate from?
So it originated from me being a teacher, really. Just my time, most of my teaching career was spent either just before COVID, during COVID, or right after COVID.
Okay.
So a really difficult time in education for a lot of us in education, and as well as the students. And then the last 2 years I've actually spent time living abroad in Australia and taught abroad in different settings there as well. And just throughout my teaching experience and my experience in education, came to the idea of this program-based service just from seeing the need in schools and the need in my students. Often the supports that the education system can offer are really overrun. Mental health is a really big thing that we talk about in school now, and it's more prevalent than ever. Kids are dealing with so many different things that, even though I am pretty young, I didn't even deal with, when I was in high school or middle school and things like that. Social media, social issues, just a lot of that stuff. And I was just seeing this kind of gap that existed. And that's kind of how I started the idea of the Bigger Things Project. I grew up wanting to be a teacher. I went to school to be a teacher. I never thought I would be anything else but a teacher. I never aspired to be like an entrepreneur or something like that. But it really just came from, I felt in my day-to-day job that I wasn't able to get the support and get the one-on-one time that I wanted with students. Even if I was trying my best, I could reach maybe like 1 or 2 during a school year, but I had 27 to like 30 kids in my class, right, that needed support. So I really wanted to work more individually, more one-on-one, really connect with kids on a deeper level than you can during the hours of the classroom day.
Well, yeah, because they're there to learn.
Yeah.
And there's a focus and a curriculum that you need to follow.
Yeah, of course.
As a teacher, and I think it's a very unique person that can look at what they're doing, because you're already teaching kids and you're already working with children, to look at that scenario and go, okay, there's something missing that they need.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. So, and mental health is more prevalent now, and we talk about it all the time, and we want to create awareness for it all the time.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, nobody wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? And we talk about it here on the show in many different aspects of it.
Yeah.
But it's so important, because there's nothing wrong with needing some help.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. Even when I was in school, it wasn't a thing that was widely spoken about. It was, something that maybe you talked about in health class, like once or twice a year or something like that. And now it's definitely improved for sure, and we talk about it a lot more. And kids are way more aware, of like the resources that are available to them. They're more aware of how to deal with their emotions and things like that. it's just like you said, when I'm a teacher during the day, I have a curriculum I have to follow. There's not enough hours in the school day, you know, to really go through some of those outer issues that come up day to day that kids need to deal with. And everybody's lives are very busy, and this is just kind of like the extra support. A lot of the times I heard from parents, you know, of my students, it was like they don't want to talk to me, and I can relate to that. I'm sure everyone can relate to that, right? You don't want to talk to your mom or your dad about those type of things. So I'm offering myself as that extra person, that outside person that, you know, isn't here to judge you, doesn't have any relation to you, and can just be kind of like someone to talk to.
Yeah. Some of that kind of outward looking in person that
objective.
Very objective. So let's talk about the importance of building confidence. And I've talked about this. I mean, we've had different groups come on, and we've had, you know, theaters come on, and we talk about, you know, getting kids involved in theater because it helps to build confidence and camaraderie and all this. But let's look at it from a perspective that you would look at it, and talk about the importance of building the youth's confidence.
Yeah, I think because, again, of, you know, the age that we live in, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Kids have access to a lot of information, but on the other hand, they're also spending a lot of time on screens, right? They're spending a lot of time on screens at home, at school, in their day-to-day life, and they're not having the same level of interaction socially, I think, as we were once used to. And the way that they connect with each other is very different than the way that we used to connect with each other, you know? Like, it's just,
it's so
even
different.
for me, like, it's very crazy to see, like, how kids now in middle school and high school and stuff, like, create friendships and interact with each other. Like, some of them are solely based online. Sometimes they've like never met in person.
I was just about to say that. Like, that kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like, it really, really does. So I'm out in public, or, you know, and I'm very observant, and I'm always looking around and whatever, and then you'll see like these kids that are all out together, but not one of them are speaking to each other. They're all on their phones, right? Or the fact that, you know, you hear, or there's people that, you know, go online and play video games, and then they meet these people from all over the world, and they consider them friends because they talk, but it's so odd.
Yeah. So I think there's like two parts to that, and the first part is definitely that I think we are a little bit unaware of the fact that kids do miss that. You know, it's not that when you see them out in a group and they're, you know, standing around on their phones, it's not because, you know, they hate social interaction or they're too awkward or whatever to do it. It's just that it's not a learned skill anymore. And nobody is spending time teaching them. So I think that's part of it. And then the other half of it is when they do make it, you know, maybe outside of high school or into the, quote, real world, whatever that might be, even if they start, you know, a part-time job or something outside of school, they experience a lot of, you know, anxiety and lack of confidence because this is maybe the first time they've had to like speak up for themselves, the first time they've had to really endure social interaction like with the public and things like that. And I meet a lot of students and kids who, you know, really want to be more confident in front of groups, in front of other people, in front of other adults, colleagues, whatever that may be, but they just don't have those skills because it's not something that we teach at school. And unless somebody at home is really spending that time to foster it, or you're being put into, you know, say extracurricular activities like theater or stuff like that, you don't really get that exposure nowadays.
No.
Because you're not spending a lot of time interacting with your peers like face to face like that. So I think that those two things together is kind of what's creating that lack of confidence for a lot of kids. And it has nothing to do with their abilities.
No.
So that's why I kind of started thinking about that as a really important part of my program and things, as well as that, you know, kids want these tools, they just need someone to teach them how to do it.
Absolutely, because it's not part of our day-to-day life anymore. It really isn't. And you kind of hit on one word that registered with me, which was anxiety. And we're going to talk a little bit about stress too, because this anxiety of, you know, maybe not knowing how to kind of conduct yourself. It's not that you don't know how to conduct yourself. You've never been shown that. And you're not used to being so socially interactive with people. So that creates an anxiety for a lot of people, I would imagine, which then turns into, you know, what could be like a huge stressor. We all can't get away from stress. We've had this, there's no life that anyone has that doesn't have one aspect of stress in it. So we all need to learn how to manage our stress. So let's talk about that with the youth as well.
Yeah, stress and anxiety, you know, in some ways those words have been kind of become buzzwords, right? It's something we hear a lot is, anxiety and stress, and even kids know about it. I'm always shocked at the amount of times, students will say to me, I have anxiety, or I have social anxiety, or I suffer those types of things. So they're very aware, whereas again, even when I was younger, that's not a word we used at all. We were not
wasn't with us either.
Yeah, we were not talking about that. Even if you had it, you weren't advertising it to other people, right? So they're very aware of those words, and in a way they have kind of become buzzwords. But like you said, we all have stress and anxiety in our life. And I think sometimes where we have misstepped is that, we have taken anxiety and used it as a blanket term, and not understood that, anxiety is an emotion.
Yes.
And that's a big thing that I talk about, as well as anxiety is emotion, it's not a personality trait.
Right.
And just because you have experienced anxiety, like everyone, doesn't mean that you have to attach yourself to that. And I think that is a little bit sometimes what can happen with kids as well, is that they experience these situations or moments where anxiety is really high, whether that be at a job interview or doing a presentation in front of their peers, or even just trying to make new friends or introducing themselves, whatever that may be. There's levels to it.
Yes.
And they attach themselves to, oh my God, I feel like this when these interactions happen, therefore I have anxiety, or I'm an anxious person.
Yes.
Right. And it's about understanding that there's situations in life that are going to cause you anxiety, but there are tools and things that you can learn to overcome that, and it doesn't have to become your personality. You can become a confident person. You have those skills, and you can learn those skills, and it's a learned thing.
Yeah, I think you're obviously exactly what you're talking about, but I look at it and I think about it, and I'm thinking, because a lot of people will be even people my age, a lot older, people my age will talk about their anxiety, and I think, and then it's a buildup of things too. I know this is coming up, I'm already anxious about it.
Yeah.
So at that point, even if you're talking about anxiety, anger, whatever it happens to be, you're building on it. You're building it because you're stressing yourself out, thinking about, oh my gosh, I've got this presentation I've got to do. I've got, I have to go to this particular place. But you've got that, and then it just kind of builds and multiplies. So it's almost like you need to start talking yourself down from the beginning of knowing that's coming. Yeah,
and it can be something that, really, like you said, takes over your life in a way, and controls your life, and that's not how you want to live, because I know what that's like, and it's not the way that you want to conduct yourself. So just learning those things from the beginning, and what those triggers are for you, and how you, continue on, and the tools that you can use for how you feel, is really what is going to help kids, build confidence and move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think we could just keep talking we could just keep going on and on. So we're going to have Sarah come back on the show. But I want to thank you so much for coming in and sharing your experience and what you're doing now. And I wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It was truly my pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye for now. So we're still on screen.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
This is a brain in urgent need of mental health care. But because 3 out of every 4 Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare,